everybody, it is LPS Emily here, and I am really excited to do today's video. I really like TV Head. The concept of TV Head has been around for quite some time, and I think it is so silly and very cute. I've always wanted to make a piece of art inspired by TV Head, so I found this doll on a website called Kika Goods. It is called the UF doll, a tuna, and I had this cool idea that I'd get this doll and put the TV head that comes with the doll on the LPS. Didn't really realize that this is an 11-inch doll, and I got it, and she's huge. Here is the Kika Goods doll, which is the entire inspiration for this whole video. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of bummed that I got the all black one when all the other ones have these beautiful frilly dresses, but I think I'm going to customize this one, and so I'm pretty excited about it. Here are all of the clothes that this doll comes with, and we have some magnetic ears to go on the top as well. I'll be taking inspiration from this plug tail as well, because I think this is really cute, especially if I use a cat base. Alright, it's time to make a Littlest pet shop inspired by this TV head doll. So after I realized my miscalculation and that I wasn't able to use the TV head from the doll on the LPS, I had to get some help from some friends. I turned to one of my best friends, Nick, to help me model the head. I got to measuring the neck peg and I sent him some inspiration photos, and then we hopped on a call to figure out how we wanted the TV head to look. We ended up going for 1.5 inches by 1 inch, which seemed good at the time, but I do think that it is a little big in hindsight. Once the head was modeled to scale, I went to my partner's brother Ethan to help me get it printed out on his 3D printer.
Nice.
Oh my god, it's a gray cube!
We're made geometry!
We went through a little bit of trial and error to get it printed correctly, but eventually we ended up with one that we were pretty happy with. Okay, now it is time to conceptualize. I went to a local cafe to do some sketching, and I came up with 5 solid design ideas. And then I shared those ideas with my friends, and everyone really seemed to enjoy the kidcore primary colored cat design, so that is who we will be making today. Just wanted to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Roblox. Roblox is a brand that creates miniature doll rooms, book nooks, 3D wooden puzzles, and more. Today, they gracefully sent me the Bubble Bath DIY Plastic Mini Set, the Fireside Restaurant DIY Set, and the Happy Meals Kitchen DIY Set. I am actually a really big fan of the quality of these doll rooms. They're really great to use for LPS sets, or honestly, I just use the miniatures that come with them and I build my own. They're great for displaying art toys in, and you can purchase them with roofs and dust-proof doors for stacking if you want to put them on display. These sets also come with working lighting. All of them come with an overhead light, but some come with extra lighting depending on the set type. It was really fun to build these, and I love how small and detailed some of the miniatures are. They work really well with LPS, and I can't wait to use the accessories in some of my upcoming LPS videos. Go to robotimeonline.com to check out their exclusive Christmas holiday sets and offers, and use LPS15 for 15% off your order. Alright, now let's customize! Starting off with our cat base, this is a fake Littlest pet shop. And I'm starting by using a hairdryer to soften the plastic, and then I'll just gently wiggle the head and the neck peg out of the socket. I'm going in with some 100% acetone to remove her factory paint and to leave us with a blank base to work with. Now that our base body is prepared, I'm going to prep the base head. I started by sanding it down with a medium grit sanding block, and I found the quality of this sanding block wasn't really that great, so I ended up getting into some smaller areas with a nail drill off camera just to help with any jaggedy leftover bits. To help with any crevices caused by layers of filament, I did 2 coats of matte Mod Podge to work as a base. It wasn't perfect, but it did a great job of acting as a primer and helping the paint cling to the plastic. For the antenna, I wanted to have stars at the ends, but I find them kind of impossible to sculpt when I use polymer clay, so instead I have these star beads. I filled one side with air-dried clay to get rid of the hole, and on the other I put a gold eye pin to use as the wire. I attached these using a nail glue that cures under UV light, and I find that that is a pretty quick and easy and accessible way to bond small pieces of plastic. Alright, let's start working on her little primary color sockies. I took some green stuff air dry clay and mixed equal parts until combined. I flattened them on the table and cut out strips to be placed around her legs. These were pretty tough to get to look nice, and it took lots of playing around with the clay for sure. I used some sculpting tools to give them rounded edges, and then added little indents to look like little knit slits. Then I used more of the green stuff clay to make the band-aids, one for the face and the other for the back. It can be pretty stiff, so I definitely had to run it under hot water a couple times to get it to kind of come back to life. Then I tap them into the TV head and onto the base. I recommend sanding the plastic down just a tad to give it something to grip onto to stay a little bit better, but I didn't do that because I'm lazy. Now to make the plug tail. This was a bit of a challenge. I think I could have 3D printed one of these, but I also knew that I could make it out of clay and wire. It took a little while and lots of pressing and sanding to get that perfect square shape for the plug, and then I ended up bending 2 wires to use as the little metal bits. To attempt to attach the antenna to the head, I started out with a flatter piece of clay to try and create a spot where I could push the antenna in. It wasn't really deep enough, so instead I had to go ahead and make a half circle, which I think ended up looking really cute, especially when I paint it red later on. I think the contrast matches really well. I love the way the one bent antenna looks. It is so cute. I also kind of wish that I added some ears to it now that I look at that, because I feel like they would have been so cute together, but alas. I ended up harvesting this neck peg from another Littlest pet shop that was pretty beaten up, and it really couldn't be used for anything. When I initially gave the measurements to Nick, I didn't realize that the neck peg actually gets wider on the inside of the head. I had only given him measurements of the outside, so this meant that I needed to do some sanding. I actually hated the sanding block, and I switched to using a blade, which did a much better job. Then I used some Gorilla Glue to glue it into place. Here I start to paint the base with a white base coat and dry brushing. This technique is a great way to prime the plastic and give the paint a really good surface to stick to. It's very helpful with the other painting technique that I use, which is using thin layers of watered down paint. This really keeps the paint as smooth as possible, especially for an off-white color. I find white and white adjacent colors to be very hard to get to be non-streaky, so doing a dry brush base can be crucial. The socks were pretty tough to paint because of all of the alternating colors. I had to change some colors around, and I ended up removing the heel pads on the back feet just because it was honestly very distracting and just a little too much. I really like the way the colors turned out. The red is really vibrant, and I added a little bit of red into the yellow too, so it has a bit of a warmer tone than just a normal primary yellow does. And the blue periwinkle color is just so darling. I love adding little details into the piece. So here I'm doing designs on the band-aid and some extra designs on the fur, and those were just so fun. I'm not gonna lie, I cried like 3 times while making this custom. I have been on a bit of a time crunch, and filming myself doing art that's so small and so intricate can be very difficult. So all of this together is just, oh man, if you notice 1 or 2 things were done off camera, please give me some grace because I almost went crazy. To seal her body, I used watered down matte Mod Podge, and a very thin layer will do the trick. For the TV head, after priming with 2 coats of matte Mod Podge, I started with a dry brush layer and then moved on to the periwinkle blue. It was very tough to get the color to stick to the star beads, but eventually they turned out. They just needed a bit of a rough base coat. I was pretty torn between using a few different colors for the screen, and I was a bit worried that the bright cyan color would be a little bit too much contrast, but I do really like the BMO look it gives them, and I was a bit stumped with it, but once I add the border, it really helped. I found these cute little stickers at my work, and so I stole them. I thought they looked very Y2K, and that's kind of the vibe I wanted for the TV, so it was perfect. The little rainbows are so cute. The face was pretty tough. I wanted it to be cute and fit the theme, but also not too techy. I ended up going with this little Mamagoma inspired face, which I think was just really, really cute. I think this TV head would look really cute with resin on the screen instead of just glossy Mod Podge, and I think I might do that soon. Okay, the beads, the necklaces, this was tough! I wanted to make the cutest, smallest friendship bracelet and necklace, and they gave me quite a run for my money. First of all, I couldn't get the container open, which was embarrassing as hell. This was a pretty difficult process, and parts of it were really fun and other parts were very difficult, and had me thinking, hey, this video is gonna get 2,000 views when I could just do another airplane video and have it get an easy 100K. Why am I doing this? And the reason is because I like miniatures, I like crafty stuff, and I like TV heads. But maybe next time I won't push the entire thing to a time crunch, because man, that is rough. Getting art videos out every 2 weeks is tough and a creative border that I do not wish upon anybody. I started to make the friendship bracelets with a normal colored string and it was too thick. Each string is made out of 2 smaller strings, and I thought that if I split them and used the smaller strings, it would work better. Unfortunately, that string wasn't strong enough and broke apart when I tried to tie it. So I ended up using twine and unraveling it to the smallest bits that I could. And those small strands were so teeny tiny and the perfect size. So I used my Posca paint pens to color them primary colors, and after I let them dry, I was absolutely golden. I tried to do a 2-knot pattern, but it looked a little bit clunky. But once I started doing a 1-knot diagonal pattern, I knew it was absolutely perfect and it matched so well. If you liked what I did today, please make sure you give me any support you can. I really appreciate it. I know this video is longer, and with everybody retention editing these days, and sometimes I just wish I could make long videos all the time, but I know things are changing, so I just hope you appreciate a long form content with lots of love put into it. I'm going in with some 100% acrylic. No, I'm not. I'm going in with some 100% acid. No, I'm not.